Hey there, restaurant pros. It's Dave Scott Peters, and welcome to the Restaurant Prosperity Formula podcast. For over 2 decades, I've been guiding restaurant owners to success with the proven principles of something I call the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. I originally created the formula based on the daily practices of the most successful restaurateurs I coached, and it's now the foundation of what I teach restaurant owners like you so you can achieve success. What do I mean by success? Success is a restaurant owner who dictates the terms of their life and their bank account instead of their restaurants dictating those things for them. Success is a restaurant owner who has the freedom from their restaurant and the financial freedom they never thought possible. How you define success is up to you, but I do know the way to achieve it is using the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. This season, I'm diving even deeper into the core elements of the formula: leadership, systems, training, accountability, and taking action. Along with my insights, you'll hear from special guests, industry experts, and inspiring success stories from fellow restaurant owners who've turned their businesses around and found their definition of success. In this episode, number 110, we'll be doing a segment I call Flip the Table, where a member takes over and interviews me. Today, I'll be interviewed by some of my most successful and inspiring members, Brianna and Jonathan Cowan. Get ready because they'll be asking the questions. Listen in and see how Brianna and Jonathan ask some really good questions and have a really good time doing it. Let's get started. But first, a word from our sponsor. We all know managing costs is one of the most important parts of running a profitable restaurant, especially now. But between fluctuating vendor prices, waste, labor, and the never-ending list of tasks that demand your attention on a daily basis, it can be challenging for even the most experienced of us to manage costs well. That's where Margin Edge comes in. Margin Edge is a complete restaurant management software that automatically uses data from your POS and invoices to show you food and labor costs in real time. Don't wait until it's too late. Margin Edge gives you tools to make decisions in the moment, like a daily P&L, price alerts on key ingredients, and real-time plate costs, all without ever having to touch a spreadsheet. Take control of your costs, work more efficiently, and be more profitable. Go to www.marginedge.com/DSP to learn more and schedule your demo today. Brianna, Jonathan, I'm so thankful you're doing this with me. We had fun on the podcast when I did it with you, but this segment's going to be a lot of fun.
We're pumped.
We're excited to be here, David.
It's going to be fun.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, this good. Like I said, it's going to be fun. This is now a segment I call Flip the Table, where I give you, the member, the opportunity to interview me. We don't know what the questions are. At least I don't. You do. So it could be anything. With that said, before we get started, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourselves if maybe they've not seen the podcast we did together as a member?
Yeah, that podcast is a while ago.
It was a hot minute for sure.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, that was when we were starting up with you. I'd say we were probably like a 9 months or a year into working with you, and we were sitting in our framed out basement that we had not finished yet, and you were helping us get better at business so we could actually afford to finish it. And I can now report that it is finished. So thank you, David. You did it. We did it. We all worked together here.
Why did we think that was like the best backdrop for that?
Because at that point of our life, we were proud of that. We were proud of that framing. We were proud that we actually did something down there.
In progress, just like me.
It was the beginning of freedom, and it was the beginning of having money. It was, right? It was the prosperity side of things.
Yes.
Absolutely. So,
why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you guys, with how you got started, a little bit about your current business and the new location?
Yeah, definitely. So I got a job in a pizzeria when I was 14 years old. Ended up working at that place for 6 years. When I was 20, my mom was crazy enough to put a second mortgage on her house so I could move an hour and a half south of where I was living at the time and be the fifth owner in 4 years of that crappy pizzeria that was doing horribly. So during that time, 2 years into it, Brianna and I got married. We were 22 years old, and Brianna said, "Wow, you really don't know what you're doing here. Why don't you start seeing my operations?" So at that point, I thought I knew everything just because I'd been doing it a few years. And I found out pretty quickly once she kind of got in my ear that, no, we need to get educated in this whole thing. So that started our business-long journey of trying to learn more about what we do. And that led us along the way to working with you at a certain point at 2 different times. We started at one point in 2000, 11 or 12, right around there. And we scraped a few pennies together to, basically not be able to feed ourselves while we were in Las Vegas at the Palace Station at one of your seminars, the Soup to Nuts seminar back in the day. We hired you guys on, and your old business partner told us that we should shut down our business because it just wouldn't work with the numbers we showed him, which he was not wrong. But, at the end of the day, we're too, headstrong to do something like that. We fought through. We did fire you at the time back then. And we started working from about 2011. And then in 2020, we reconnected. We had a different concept at this point. And COVID was like taking over the world at this point. We literally met while they announced the NBA closure of the season. And that's when I knew that COVID was serious at that point. Like, no NBA season? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Anyways, we brought you on because we were like, all right, what are we gonna do with our time during this horrible thing that's going on? We're like, why not use it to, things are gonna be slower. We'll get a coach and try to figure this thing out, the restaurant stuff. And you helped us so much by getting us out of the business and working on the business. You were the first person to push us and hold us accountable to hiring a management team. And that's kind of changed our life, where you've gotten us out of operations where we can actually start working on bigger things. So where we're at now is we have this restaurant in Lamont, Illinois. There's 65 seats, and we run a great business out of there. It's a very busy restaurant. And we have a catering branch of our company where we cater around 100 weddings a year at this point. And we do the full service. We do, family style pizza. We do, or family style food, I should say, in general. We do bar services. We do rental services with that. And now we're in the middle of a project, and we're actually documenting this. So if you go to Wooden Paddle's YouTube page, you can follow along. We're releasing episode 10 very soon, and actually many more. We release one a week, and we take you behind the scenes where you can see a build out of 12,000 square feet of space being built out. So we're doing a restaurant on the main level. We're putting bathrooms in the basement. We're putting a big elevator system in. We're on the second level. We're doing a wedding venue that can seat around 200 to 250 people. So it's a major project. It's crazy where we started when we met with you and where we're at now. And thanks for being part of that journey with us, David. So
I appreciate you bringing me along. It's been nothing but fun. And I can't tell you how amazing it has been to have a back seat to your journey. Again, from a seminar to young kids coming through when it was a 4-day seminar in Las Vegas, which was a lot of time, to working with my old company, which really was going a software direction at the time and wasn't real fit. And again, as you said, my partner said, it's a hobby, you should get out. That's not a real good business plan when you want to, have people continue to pay you. And then we reconnected again as COVID hits. And this is when I'm on my own. I had just restarted, sold the company and just solely coaching. And so in that time, I mean, it has just been amazing what you guys have built from a pizzeria that was a hole-in-the-wall / local hobby into a multi-million-dollar business, opening into a huge facility. And everybody should check out your YouTube page, Wooden Paddle, on YouTube, because the video blog, vlog that you guys are doing, showing the process, is not only entertaining, but it's educational. And it's really neat to see how you guys go through the iterations of the many, many challenges that go with opening a building, especially when you gut it. So everybody should tune into that. So this brings us to, this is a section or a podcast now I call Flipping the Table, where I'm the person being interviewed. You guys are in control. So ask away.
all right, the floor is ours. So.
I'm excited. Okay. So I kind of kept it all business. Probably just because I'm like obsessed with business in general, but I did throw in one personal question.
Super.
But I am so curious to know, because I feel like you have met so many entrepreneurs, obviously all in like the restaurant space mostly.
Right.
But they're all entrepreneurs, and you've done this like one-on-one kind of consulting with them even before they like maybe work with you. And I want to know, I feel like you would probably be good at identifying within like the first 5 to 10 minutes if that person is going to be great as a business owner or if they maybe won't be. I'm kind of interested to see, like, if you're talking to somebody first 5, 10, 15 minutes, what are the things that they say or do that might indicate like they're not going to hack it or they have what it takes, even if they, don't have the experience necessarily.
Well, I think the first two things I look for are, do they have a passion for hospitality? I mean, that's one thing that is not uniquely you guys, but is why you have stuck it out and made an incredible business. You're passionate about providing to the guests the best experience possible, from the food quality being not just a pizzeria, not just another Chicago place, but really bringing in that Neapolitan, very unique, like Thai pizzas and things like they're so good and so unique that you spend the time training your team, putting out specialty cocktails. You've recently brought in a celebrity chef to be a part of it because you care so much. So you have to have a passion for hospitality. Now that's important. The other is you got to be persistent. You guys exemplify that, right? Getting through all the heartache and the problems that come up with running a restaurant, being an entrepreneur. That's important. But I'm going to tell you the one thing that really stands out, and I talk about it quite often anymore, and I really didn't realize what it was until after I wrote my book. The importance of somebody having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. The fixed mindset, people are like, oh, son of a bitch, government, and these employees and these customers, they don't understand, blah, blah, my vendors are screwing me. And it's always somebody else's fault. They never look introspectively and go, I can control what I can control. The things I can't control, what am I going to do? I'm just going to keep going. And that's where growth mindset people don't look at these things as roadblocks. Instead, they're speed bumps. Now, some of them are really high speed bumps and they hurt to go over because the shocks don't handle it. But the fact of the matter is, we're always learning. And so you have to be at the beginning of your journey. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. There are times where I've misread people. They show me, they present growth mindset. They're ready. They meet with me and they're excited. I get people kind of energized when we're on a discovery call. It's like, oh, you can make this change. They're like, yeah, I want the change. But they weren't quite ready. And it's interesting to see them in the group because they're an oddball. They've got all these people, these entrepreneurs who care, want to change, want to learn, want to do more, have challenges, want to help each other. Whereas these people just focus on the negative. And I truly think that that's the Achilles heel. If you've got a growth mindset, you are certainly destined for a lifetime of challenges or failure. If you have a growth mindset, you have a destiny for lifetime challenges, but you're going to see your way through it. I think that's the biggest thing.
Totally.
So what are the names of the people that fall into that bucket?
Tell the truth now.
they were few and far between because I literally don't let everybody into the group coaching program because of that. I know what will happen. They will not succeed. And I don't want to take your money if you're not ready for the change.
Totally.
Honestly, and being a part of the group coaching thing, the Mastery Plus that we are in, like, we are such big fans of that. We feel like blessed to be a part of that group. Such a good group of people, and you've done a great job curating that group.
Totally.
I appreciate that. And like I tell you guys almost on a meeting by meeting basis, I'm thrilled you guys pay me to be part of your group. Like, it's a magical group of people. It's amazing.
I'll invoice you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So what would you say? Now there's like the group of everybody who owns a restaurant and is doing well, or owns a business and is doing well. What do you feel like separates the people who are like better than average from the people who are really great? Like, what do they do differently, or what about them is different?
Wow, that's a big question.
You're welcome.
Well, it falls in line with the first question, but I think where it really differentiates them is innovation. You are the people who are truly stellar. They never settle. there's always the next thing. Like you hit a goal and it's like, okay, well, that's so yesterday. What's the next goal? We're going to innovate with technology. We're going to innovate with how our menu. We're going to innovate with service. We're going to do things differently, not just follow what everybody else does. We want to be that good. And I think innovation, and that leads to being a leader, not just where I talk about the importance of being a leader in your business, but an industry leader. Right? You look at that table, the vast majority of the Mastery Plus members are innovators. You know, if I look at you, I look at Avery, Bob Katie, go down the list, Mark McShaffrey, we keep going down. I'm just going to list everybody off. So those of you I didn't list your name, it's not because I don't think you're an innovator. But we look at everybody around that table, and these are people at the top of the game. And while they're at the top, they keep looking to go higher and higher. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is not just being a leader in your business, but being an industry leader, not settling.
Totally. I actually remember on our date night this week, I don't know why it came up, but we were sitting having like cocktails down the street from us. Yeah. And John's like, "Why are you so quiet?" And I was like, I'm literally just thinking if we're going to be able to like stay cool forever.
She did ask me that. That was a question.
Because I was like, that's hard to like kind of, you know, stay relevant and constantly innovate. I love doing that, so I think we'll be okay. But I'm getting like, I'm young now. I don't know
hey, I'm an innovator. I'm old. It's okay. You just keep innovating. All right. It's just the body hurts. I'm going to let you know a secret. The body starts to hurt.
Well,
I like that. That's fair.
What I told her is why we will be cool as a place going forward is because we can finally experience like the finer things of the restaurant industry. It's like, maybe we move from doing this type of concept, or maybe do another concept where that's a finer thing. You know, so finer thing.
I just want to be clear. Once your children turn 13, you're no longer cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
we got a few more years.
Yeah. Okay. If the restaurant consultant gods struck down and said you can no longer be in this business,
the restaurant coaching, let's be fair.
Coaching, consulting, like whatever.
Okay.
If they just said like, no, you can't be in this business, you can't be close to this business, what would you do?
The question is going to be, do I need to make money, or am I independently wealthy?
Oh,
independently wealthy.
Yeah, let's do independently wealthy.
I'm going to tell you, it's really easy. I would become a crew coach. I'd coach masters rowing, and I'd be out on the water, not only me for competing on myself, but also help other people get better. So I guess I can't get rid of the coach. When I was in college, I initially thought, man, I had a speech comm degree. What do you do with that? Interpersonal organizational. I thought maybe I was going to act and do some things afterwards, TV, that kind of stuff. But before I made that decision, I was taken as a speech comm major, anatomy, physiology. I thought about taking kinesiology because I love the sport of rowing, and I wanted to coach outside. When I graduated from college was one of my directions I wanted to take. So it's still coaching. It's just not business.
Awesome. I love that.
I'm just glad you don't hate yourself enough to say stand-up comedian.
Remember, if you recall, I did improv comedy, which I love. I've never done stand-up. It's on my bucket list. That is terrifying. I don't see myself making a living it that way.
We can do it, but still make a career of it. You know, that just seems like a tough life.
Dude, sign up for Kill Tony.
Kill Tony, go to Austin.
So fun.
I don't know what Kill Tony is.
Oh man, we'll tell you afterwards.
You need to watch it.
Yeah, right. We both did at the same time. Awesome.
Yeah, great, perfect.
Sorry, we're on a delay, so I'm seeing everything. Bad podcast. All right, let's
it's all great.
Okay, who are your mentors or coaches, and what are some of the biggest things that you have learned from them?
So over the years, I have, like most entrepreneurs, I have paid for coaching because I believe that you don't know what you don't know, and sometimes you can buy speed. So why learn through mistake? Instead, pay somebody who's been there, done that. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've had very different successes and things that I really liked. And there were some that I went, man, what did I pay for that for? So it's a mixed bag. And I think people have the same thing when they meet with me. Like, is it really worth the money? Well, one of the things you've got to look at introspectively is what are you going to do with it? Whether you've got a good coach, bad coach, it's completely indifferent. The first one I was going to tell you would be John Childers, who was a guy who made millions of dollars selling people into buy my program on how you can make millions of dollars in real estate. He was sold from stage. This is in the infancy when info marketing was all the shows that go around that have all the big name speakers and all they do is sell you shit from stage. Well, that's what he did. And he put on a program called $1 Million Speaking. My mother went to a preview event and for $100 and got sold into, I believe it was a $25,000 thing. It was like $3,000 up front. And then if you went into the business of info marketing, you would pay 25% of your revenue till you paid off 25 grand. I'm like, you did what? To my mom, like, you're nuts. And it opened up a whole world to me because I was a speech comm major. I was doing improv comedy. I knew I was turning at the time a failed franchise around for sale. I would be selling myself out of a job. And so that was when the light bulb went off. I've got incredible knowledge being an independent operator growing up to being a chain operator and changing those things around. I love being on stage. It's like I was a I was like, this is my dream job. So that would probably be the first one. The second one is probably, who's become a really good friend of mine, is Cameron Carrington, who was a speaker in the pizza space in the beginning. He just recently sold Repeat Returns, his loyalty program, to our friend Matt Plapp at America's Best Restaurants, who I talk to all the time too. But Cameron took me under his wing. He was a copy guy. He could create copy and he could help sell and it was a great sounding board on what it was like to work with entrepreneurs and be an entrepreneur on your own. I can remember one point in time, we flew to Mexico he had a condo in Puerto Vallarta, and we spent 3 days together. We created my USP, which at the time was, in my old company, was I was the guy who could walk into any restaurant. By the time, from the front door, by the time we go to the back door, I'll find you $10,000 hidden profit guaranteed. Like, it was like, remember that? I mean, that was the thing. It was like, how do you explain what the hell you do, David? And, so my time with Cameron and the conversations we'd have, I think were among my favorite, because here was somebody who'd been there, done that. And at the same time, I could help him, which made it even more rewarding. I think those would be the top two.
That's awesome.
Great answer.
And honestly, that is a good line to explain what I actually remember that as a line. Huge. And it was like 10,000. I don't even make that much.
Yeah. And the reality is, now that we've made all these changes, what is $10,000 change? It's so tiny. It sounds huge when you're struggling, but it's like nothing.
Yes. Yeah. That's awesome. Let's see. What would be the best advice you'd give to your younger self? Twofold: business advice and then personal advice. Like 2 pieces of advice you could give to your younger self.
Man, I know the business one. I'm just wondering whether it's politically correct to say it, but I'm gonna say it.
Just say it.
Your podcast, also your funeral. I don't know.
Don't have a partner. Partners. Now, let me be very clear. I don't regret having a partner in my old company because, quite honestly, I believe what he brought to the table and what I brought to the table made us better. It was a better company. But it's amazing when you start to have the struggles and one wants to go one direction, one wants to go another direction, and some of what churns up that way. More importantly is when there's a separation, even when it starts out amicably, that there are indefinitely bruised feelings, and it just, you lose a friend. And that would be what I'd tell myself. Just trust your gut, stay the course on your own. I don't begrudge anybody having partners, and we have lots of members who are partners, and they have incredible relationships. But for me personally, I just, that's not the direction I want to go. So that was the first part. So the personal one is what I had to discover after selling or having my part of the company bought out, my old company, and having a heart attack a year before that. Is I learned that I can't put all of my eggs in one basket and have my identity only be my work. And that's where I found my way back to rowing. That's where I've made my way back to blocking out my schedule and going, you can't have me at this time and this time. I'm not available. Whereas I used to make myself available 24/7. Now, don't get me wrong. As a Mastery Plus member, you have my cell phone and you can call me and text me anytime. But that's a very small group of people. It's not every waking moment, anybody who needs help, anybody. And because all I did, my whole identity was at the time, the restaurant expert, the guy who knew prime costs and numbers. And when I lost it, when it was gone, when my health, and oh, by the way, if you don't have your health, you've got nothing, just so we're clear. So it took enough scare, a heart attack, to give me that scare that you need something else in your life that you identify. So I can look at myself, say I'm a restaurant coach, I'm a rower, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I do other things. And I would tell myself not to let rowing go, or to make sure I made more time for my kids as they grew up, because I missed birthdays because I had to go to New York to speak at the show, and every third birthday I'd miss of my daughters. And it was like, really? Did I really have to be there? Could I have missed one day and gone the next day? Not instead of 3 days of the show, I could have done 1 or 2. But we tell ourselves why we do things. It took me a long time to take my own medicine and say, I've got to have a life too.
Was it more immediately after you sold, or was it the heart attack that really made the change?
The heart attack started it. And at the time, the company was struggling a little bit, and I was taking a personal haircut on finances and just entrepreneurial struggles. And so now I'm having the challenges of software and changing the way I do things, not just being a restaurant coach, but also a software company, and things that are out of my control, to being a entrepreneurial poverty. Okay, I got money in the bank account, but these are the things I need to do in order to keep everybody paid and build and grow the software in the company. And it just added up. Now you add the heart attack, that now you go, what am I doing this for? It's kind of a shocker. Mm-hmm. But it really set in when then, not even a year later, I sold my interest in my company. And then who was I? So it was kind of a building block. I don't know, it was chicken egg, as it just kind of built. It just built and built and built. Because I'm not going to lie, I was in the downy dumps for about 6 months, because I'm like, who the shit am I? I'm no longer the restaurant expert. I'm restarting this business, and I still do what I do, but it's starting from scratch. It went from, do we have 14 employees, small company, to me, and it's quiet in your own office when there's nobody to talk to.
That is so true.
You need somebody to talk to now.
That's the truth. Okay. Do you have, this one's one I've always been curious to ask, and I feel like there's always people around that I can't really bring it up around, but now that it's just us and everybody who listens to your podcast, do you have, because I know you used to go to people's restaurants, do you have a kitchen nightmares or a bar rescue sort of story?
Oh yeah. We're gonna leave the name out of it.
Yeah.
So I want you to picture a fine dining, bistro level fine dining Italian restaurant in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay. It's Christmas. Our member, who was really a great entrepreneur, real estate person, ended up had a space, ended up becoming a restaurateur because the person they brought in went away. I've heard the story 8 million times.
Right.
Yeah.
Pulls us out, partner and I, for a consult, an emergency. Lost her chef. My partner was a chef. We're going to come in. We're going to save Christmas because literally it is the week before Christmas. This is when it's busy as all hell. We've got to get systems in a little further than where we were. Like, it was all hands on deck. And there's one thing that most restaurateurs dread, and that's me in their building. If they allow me to walk around and find everything that's wrong with it. Right. I look for the dust bunnies and the grease and the chairs that look like they've been mopped against and, out there. I find all the details that you don't ever see anymore because you're so used to seeing it. Well, I'm doing this walkthrough. And as I'm going through the walkthrough, we get in the front open kitchen. Looks beautiful from the customer side. There's mold on the line. I watched somebody, they were heating up sauce on the hot table, not in a pot on the burner. I look down, it looks like in the pizza oven that it's got so much soot in there that it's a fire hazard. We go back into the kitchen and all of a sudden there's raw sewage coming up where the person's standing doing prep. We go into the walk-in cooler. Nothing's day dotted. I find things that are open, and I start losing my shit. To a point where the chef at the time failed to come into the walk-in cooler, and there's a sous chef or a kitchen man, somebody was in there, and I lose my shit on this person. I am so pissed off, and I grab the owner, and I go, I can't believe I've been eating in this restaurant for this past week. I said, I'm going to be dead straight with you. Until all of this is cleaned up, I will never eat here again. And we had all hands on deck to clean and do it. But I've never seen anything because forget about, it's hard and so on and so. I don't know the kitchen and bullshit excuses. You know what dirty looks like. You know that we have a legal and moral responsibility to serve, safe food. Like, there are no excuses when it comes to that. There can be a little bit dirty. We all know that if I come in, I'm going to point all these things out and we're going to get yourself to where your restaurant looks brand new every single day, especially in the kitchen. We allow things to get bad, but man, when you have such a bag of I don't give a shit and open it all up and spill it all around the place, when there's literally raw sewage bubbling up as somebody's standing at a prep table doing prep, you got to be kidding me. That would probably be my number one kitchen nightmare story, if you will.
That's a good one.
That's literally kitchen nightmares right there.
And understand, they're paying me $10,000 a day to be in their building.
Screaming them, yeah.
And I'm ripping. I mean, I lost my shit.
That's a great dream job.
Critical Brie.
$10,000 a day to be yelling? That sounds lovely. Okay. What time are we at?
You're good.
We're good. Okay. Just wanted to double check. I don't want to go too long. Okay. What is now this is like you on your own from that point on. What is your favorite part about running this new business and what's your least favorite part?
My favorite part is changing people's lives. When you see the aha moment, when I see you guys make the change of, why are we closed on Mondays? Why don't we do this? What? And all of a sudden the light bulb and things change. Well, we can't really afford a manager. Then you add a manager and you have a life. And the next thing you know, you've got an operations person, you've got a chef, you've got a new person in sales, you've got somebody handling catering. Like all of a sudden it explodes. It's seeing that light bulb. It's seeing that you can touch someone's life and truly make a difference. And it's hard. Like, I don't lie when I tell people I suck, I create work. But when you do the work and the aha moment hits, man, that's amazing. What don't I like? I don't know about don't like as much as sometimes creating content is hard for me. I've been creating content for over 21 years. I've been in my, on YouTube between my old company and here. I have 7 years of videos. I've got the podcast happens every other week. I've got lives I do every Friday if I'm not traveling. I've got shorts and all this. At some point in time, sometimes I look at my calendar and go, I've got to create content. What are the 5 other things I could be doing right now? Let me do those instead. And it becomes late. And it's not the on-camera stuff. It's the prep. Doing my research, making sure I have, the intro done and making sure I know what I want to say and da-da-da. It's that extra work. But man, if I could just fire off every single day and not have anything planned and just speak on a camera, that shit's easy. It's the planning part because I'm not built that way.
For sure.
I hear that. Yeah. And that's why this is a good segment for you because I had to do the prep.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Table, baby.
Okay. I think that's all my questions, actually.
Well, then we did good.
Oh, wait. No,
but there's one more.
There's 2 more. I lied.
Okay, bring it.
So this is my second to last one. I was going to make John and I both do an impression of you.
Oh, shit.
And then I want you to read it.
I feel like I'm not that good at that.
Okay, write mine.
No, I'll do it. All right. Son of a bitch. No, that wasn't even good. I was like tentative in doing
Son of a bitch. Okay, that's one. And then you need a system, a process, and a way.
Dead on. There's a system, a process, a way to doing anything and everything in your business. Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay, well, I probably win, but you can.
You know what? The son of a bitch is I get stuck on that one. Some bitch. There was another phrase I get caught on sometimes is I don't give a rat's ass. My wife made me a t-shirt. It says I don't give a rat's ass. I wear it proudly.
As it should be. I love good t-shirts. Okay.
Now, here's the important question.
Here's the last one, and I need this to be obviously in your own words. Who is your favorite client of all time, and why is it us? This is painful. It is painful. Haven't I given you all the reasons so far during the whole interview? I swear, I think I've said so many nice things. I can't imagine this. I can't believe there's anything else to add, Brianna. I just needed to trap you, see what would happen.
Well, it's like you tell your children, we have no favorites. And your children look at you and go, we know who your favorite is.
Well, we know. But we know.
100%. I know I'm not the favorite in my family, I can tell you that much. It's all good.
As long as we're not the black sheep in yours, too.
Yeah.
No.
It's true.
This has been a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. This has been a lot of fun. Do me a favor. I'm going to turn the tables on you guys. What would you share with somebody who's listening to us and as young entrepreneurs, what do you think the most important thing is for you to be successful?
Can I say one thing before that? My mind moving at a certain point, and just what we heard the other day, just the business within the business. What business are we in? Are we in the restaurant industry? Yeah, we are, but what is the business behind that? And that would be we're a talent acquisition company at this point. When you're not a startup anymore, it's not just about me and Bree just running around in circles, trying to put out every fire, trying to figure out everything. As we're past that startup phase, it's like, all right, how can we fill this position? How can we improve our high-level hiring system? And now we're like, oh, shoot. So if we're in that talent acquisition business, and we're in a training business, and our training system sucks, how can we become a better business? So that's just something, as you were talking, I didn't want to cut you off because you're so eloquent, you're saying such great things, but that's what I kind of went to thinking about at some point.
Like you would tell somebody.
Well, I'd say at a certain point, it changes. It's not just about being the hardest worker anymore. It's about being smarter, and going along with it. But it just, there's different iterations to business. You have your startup phase, and I'd say we're at like a middle growth type phase right now. And then I'd love to get to mastery someday, but that seems so far away.
I know, that's elusive. It's like a little, like...
Again, that's what makes you special is, again, you're innovative. You're always moving. So there's a phase and you say, hey, that mastery, it's that lofty goal that is, it's almost reachable. It's just, you can almost touch it, but it keeps moving further. As long as you stay on it, I think you'll get there, just might not touch it.
I feel like my advice I would parrot something from Gary Vaynerchuk. He said, you have to be willing to be bad at something long enough to get good. And I feel like that's the only way you can really grow. We didn't want to do this documentary thing. We didn't want to do our podcast because we're like, we don't know how. I'm not good at it.
Which is the Fire Ready Aim podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yeah, literally inspired by this guy and his phrasing. Not like we're super fans or anything, but literally
the name is from David Scott.
Yes, it is. It is. But I think that would be my advice because there's so much that I think stopped us in the beginning because we're like, well, we're not good at that yet. We can't start that until we're good at it. Well, you're never gonna get good at it unless you try it out a few times. And I'm shocked at from our first filming of this new documentary, I was so awkward. I didn't know what to do. I just felt so stupid doing it. And now we're getting more comfortable and I'm okay on camera and I feel better about it. And it's only because we were just like, all right, fuck it. Let's try it. I don't know. And I feel like that's all you have to do in business is keep going because you're not going to be good at it ever to start. So don't believe that, you will be. Just jump in.
It's uncomfortable till you put in the hours and to use your podcast / your vlog, document all this. No, I didn't think you were awkward in the beginning, but now you're doing pull-ups and hell, you were filmed in a portalette. So I'm just going to say, you got a little more comfortable.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, now it's more fun, but to start it was awkward and I felt stupid, but
well, honestly, I'm so thankful. This is our second large renovation of a building project, and I just think back to, wow, it would have been cool to capture a lot of the stuff that's going on in the first one, and but we're finally doing it on the second one. I'm really proud of that because it would have been very easy to have the idea and be like, oh, we don't have the time, we don't have this or that. But I now know forever we'll be able to watch that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I think every restaurateur should tune into your podcast. They should tune into your YouTube channel. I think what you guys bring to the table is amazing. I love you guys to death. Obviously, based on this podcast, I guess you're now my favorite members. I didn't know that, but now since you told me, I know that.
This cannot be fun.
But I hope they search you guys out because I think the world of you, and I really want to thank you for doing this with me today. I'm not gonna lie, this is a lot more fun than I expected it to be. This was a blast. I appreciate you.
Anything for you, David.
Ready to take the next step towards achieving restaurant prosperity, freedom from the daily grind, and the financial success you deserve? Book a discovery call with Ryan James to learn about our group coaching program. Ryan will guide you through how our program can transform your restaurant and help you achieve the prosperity and freedom you've been striving for. Click the link in the description below or visit dsp.coach/talk-to-Ryan to schedule your call now.